Hello everyone, back here with the final video, the final major video for this week's lab, and we're going to kind of talk about how we can make surfaces in this video. And what I want to focus on is making a surface for the plate here of the chair, and then also the back plate for the backrest. So I'm just going to pop my reference images back on, and the shadows are really playing with this here. Let's see, I'm just gonna quickly turn those off. There we go. Hopefully I can still see my curves and whatnot. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just come back into seat, and then I'm going to extrapolate a curve from here and just make a planar surface. Planar surfaces are some of the easiest things you can make. As long as you know that the curves that make up something, or the curves that come together, are flat and planar, you can easily make a planar surface. So why don't we come up here, and we're going to go to curve from objects, and I'm going to extract isocurve. And I'm going to extract it from this here. And the reason I want to take it directly from this object is, one, to make sure I know that it's actually connecting to that object. Two, depending on where I connect it to, I can have it flow nicely. Just like we were talking about having those tangent curves flow nicely from one to another, we can also kind of try to aim for the same thing when we select a reference geometry or a curve. So I'm just going to select this guy, and that's good. It's in the direction I want, and you can see it move around. I'm going to turn intersection snap off and point snap off, but I want to show you, if I did the V direction, it would be kind of taking a cross section from the pipe. I actually want to work in the U direction. And what I'm going to search for is, I'm going to see, so that's an endpoint there. I kind of want to get this top line right here. So maybe I can use quadrant, and yep, right there. You see how it's snapping to that quadrant, which is this sort of top curve there, which is perfect. So I'm going to click that, I'm going to hit enter, and that will give me that top curve. And the reason I want that top curve is because I want that surface to start right where that edge of the pipe of the seat frame starts. So that surface is going to come and then curve down and follow that pipe. It just makes a nice, elegant seat. Also, if this were lower, you'd have a lip on the seat, something that, when you're sitting, might be uncomfortable for your legs. So what we can do is, this right here button is surfaces and things. And it's going to give us a lot of different options. But if you see your surface from planar curves, when I hit that, it'll just create that surface. Super nice, right? Housekeeping things. I'm going to just change some colors of things so that I can see them. Oh, this was not in the seat. Move objects to layer. Cyan. We will move those to and make that one purple, and then move those to the purple layer, just so I can see the different objects. Now for this back curve here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrapolate an isocurve where I think is a good point for it to become tangent, which actually this one looks like it's pretty good. If you imagine a curve coming off that, it's not a bad place to start. So let's extrapolate an isocurve, curve from objects, isocurve, and I'm going to select here, and I'm going to click somewhere close to there. It's kind of hard to see because of the color. I might change that color, but right there, that's pretty good. And I can be pretty close about it. I'm going to come to my front view because what I'm going to do is I'm going to look and place a point on that curve so that I can then kind of split that curve. And from there, I have this nice top curve up here, and then I can then maybe draw another curve here. So I'm going to go to my right view, and then I have my curve somewhere in here, and it's asking me curve or poly surface. And this curve was brown. I'm actually going to move that back to this layer. I don't know why it's having problem with the graphics, but anyway, that curve is back there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a point, and I'm going to say near, and now there's that original curve I have in there, but this is the curve I want. And I'm going to say here, and then I can mirror that curve with my mirror line, mirror, endpoint. There we go. And then what I can do is then I can generate a curve, control point curve, snap onto that point. And then what I might do is just add a curve right in the center, just one for now, say right around here. And then I'm going to come back and then select that point and then hit enter. Now this point, I'm going to hide that seat because it's giving me some issues. And actually, I should be working in the back leg layer anyway. So now this is my curve. I'm going to look at it from the front view and see where that is. So you see how it's kind of curving down or towards this plane here. When I turn my control points on, you can see that control point is there, and that's because I snapped it to our mirror line, which is okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab it and move it in kind of closer to see where that back panel might be in the image. So when I go into perspective mode, I can see that it's looking like it's in a pretty good spot. So I'm going to turn my reference geometry off and find that line that I made that follows that is the ISO curve. And I'm going to split that line with the curve I just made. And again, they should be touching because my points should be touching. And that's split it into, oh, look at that. It didn't split it there. Why is that? Split failed, objects might not be touching. So that's a little interesting. Let's split it with a point. Let's see if we can get away with it. Still no. So this is sometimes the issue that you can come up against when there is working 3D. Is sometimes it says it did connect to that line, but we can see it didn't really connect to that line. I'm just going to delete this point. Actually, what I can do is curve, use my closest point again. I'm going to select that point, and then you can see how it made that extra point. Now it's super, super small. Let's zoom in. Look at that. It's off by, like I said in a previous video, really like, thousandths of an inch. But what I can do is I can turn my control points on. I'm going to do a move command, and then I can select this object, and I'm going to say this point to this point. And there we go. So that should be good. I should be able to select this curve and then split it again And yep, split it into two pieces. There we go. So just be aware that sometimes you might encounter that, and it's good to kind of zoom in and see exactly what the situation is. And we've got the ability to take care of it. So now I've got these two different curves right here to try to make a surface of that back. So what I can do is here I can actually do surface from 2 to 3 edges, and it's going to try to extrapolate the best surface that can be made. So I'm just going to select this curve and then this curve, and then I'm going to hit enter. Now what I really need is when you say 2, 3, or 4 open curves, it's you just want to make sure that they're going to be connected for the what we're using it for. So I'm going to hit enter, and then there we go. We've got this nice back, and actually that is pretty nice. You can see a little bit. There is a little bit of an intersection. Oops, with these lines, how they are intersecting, or this tube is intersecting this curve, but it's pretty close to what we want it to be. I'm just going to hide that reference geometry, bring that seat back, hide that reference image and that reference geometry. And then any of those extra curves or points, we could move to the reference geometry layer. And so this is a pretty good spot to be in for our lab and for this chair. Now there's going to be some extra things to do in the lab, but this is a good foundation to get us to where we want to be. I hope this video was helpful in explaining a couple of ways we can make surfaces. There's a lot of different ways we can make surfaces, and we're going to go over a whole lot of them through other labs and other projects. But until then, I hope this was good for you, and I'll see you later. Bye.